Hey everyone, this is David Good. Thanks for joining me today. I'm going to show you how I painted this painting. It's called Telstar. This is actually a second go at it, so I sometimes call this one the do-over. And you can do that too when you have a painting that you just don't like how it looks when it gets started. It's so easy just to start over. And you'll see why I did in a second. So let's get going. Here's what I had to start with. I had started an abstract earlier with red, white, and blue. Not really trying to be patriotic, I just like those colors together. And I had painted this and used a sponge to blend it all together. And when I was done with it, not that this was a completed painting, but when I got to this point, I looked at it and said, my gosh, I just painted the Pepsi Cola logo. So that wasn't going to happen. So I decided let it dry. A couple days later I came back and you'll see what happens. To begin with, I had no desire to keep any part of this painting. So I got out my spatula, opened my jar of white, and just started laying out some paint. And as usual, I really had no preconceived notion of what I was doing. I was just letting the painting take me there. So put some white on, dip into the red and get some bold colors going. See, the other thing I didn't quite like about the original is that it got really washed out and dull. Too much blending. I wanted bold, striking colors. So adding a new layer of these colors just straight out of the jar without any sponge blending, that gave me the boldness I wanted. And here I'm adding some blue. I'm overlapping a bit and getting some ideas of where I'm heading. Still just thoughts in my head, not really anything, nothing too precise. And as you put on paint, you'll start overlapping colors and seeing how they interact with each other. Sure, we all know, this color mixed with that color makes this other color and whatnot. But it's the blending. It's not the blending into another color. It's just how the streaks of this color with that color come together that make this cool. I liked what I had started to see with the blue and the white. And now I'm just kind of making the whole atmosphere of this painting a little darker, more galactical. Ooh, is that a word? I think it is. Anyway, I'm adding black here. And it really, really pops the blue. So now I've got most of the, I've got all of the canvas covered with the new paint. I don't have any of the old stuff showing through. Now is where I start getting into detail, and I add black around some colors. I start streaking in colors here and there, and this is where the thought processes start to happen, and I find direction. So here I'm adding some red to the black, and that you can't really see it too well here in the video, but it adds a glow, not a bright glow, more like smoldering embers kind of glow when you mix red with black. Blue has a similar thing, but it's a much cooler color, not quite as warm as red, and it's a lot more subtle. So I liked adding the red around. Here I'm adding some blue to the upper corner. This lower left corner that I'm working at it's gonna be a problem for me in this painting. I'll do a little foreshadowing here. I just started layering on way too much paint down there, and it got to the point where I couldn't get any detail that I liked, highlights or anything. It just turned into mixing mud. You'll see that as we go along. And I'll point out when I came to the realization that, this needs to go. And I did. I removed paint. Put some back on, but I removed paint. I can do that. I am the artiste. So you can see that white splotch that I started with is turning into some really interesting shapes here. And I like how this is coming together. Much better than the first go around. Yeah, down in that lower left, I'm starting to try to put in some highlights and whatnot. What I'm trying to do down the bottom portion of this painting is kind of make it look like an up-close picture of a meteor. You know, I've kind of determined that, hey, this is kind of a space painting, and trying to make it look like, you know, rocky cliffs of a meteor, and it just was not working. I had far too much paint. But these other streaks, you know, when I carry through the white and the red and the blue, it's phenomenal. Here I am adding some more red glow. Bold strokes. Really attack your painting with that spatula. You tell it who's the master. That's why I like using big canvases for my abstracts, because it's an exercise of flow for me. You know, the painting comes through my limbs to the canvas, and I just like having a lot of area to work with. Now, with an abstract like this, you know, one, you got to work with complementary colors and such like that. You got to follow some rules, and one of them is adding contrast. You need contrast in order to have depth. So the white is contrast to the blue and the red and whatnot, and I added a little more white up there a few moments ago, just because that one corner up in the left was just getting too dark. And also, to add some contrast, I used another color. I used a yellow to start highlighting some areas. I figured that was a nice color that would go along with the red and the blue. So one of the things you gotta keep control of while you're painting abstracts is you gotta learn when to stop. It's kind of what happened to me in that lower left corner, is I just didn't know when to stop fiddling with it. I mean, what's there right now, it looks kind of good, but now I'm adding more stuff, and it's just getting too slick, you know, too thick with paint, and it's not grabbing, it's not streaking like I want, and when I try to blend it, it just turns into goo. So you gotta learn, you know, when is it the right time to stop? And I'll tell you when that is. I have no idea. It's when you look at it and you're done. Here I go, messing some more of this corner. You can tell by my body language that, you know, I'm really trying to work it. Trying to figure it out. Keep stepping back and checking it out. Just doesn't work that well. Oh, here comes some white. That really turned into a gray mess for me. Pretty soon here I'm going to come to the conclusion that this corner sucks. I'll be honest. For the moment though, still trying to work it out. Go move to another corner, take another look. Nope. Just realized this does not work for me. So I clean off my spatula and I scrape, and I'm pulling some color off. Wasn't enough, so I go get my squeegee and I pull off a lot of paint. Take a peek in that paper towel. I've got quite a pile of paint there that I've taken off. Now, one thing I enjoyed about this part is I kind of got a neat surprise. Is as I was doing this, I wasn't really scraping hard, so I was leaving a pattern, kind of a washboard effect, with a lot of ridges and stuff like that, smoothed off ridges. And when I noticed that, here I'm just trying to reuse some of the paint, but you know, that was futile because it was just mud. So what I do is I go and I get some blue, and I just kind of lightly go over some of those ridges, and it leaves a little staggered effect, and it's really nice. And I saw that with the blue, so I went with the red to give some more contrast and some more color, and it worked out beautifully. And once I did that, I pretty much said this painting is done. I'll streak it just gently, and there you go. I like these paintings because, you know, you've got such a thick layer of paint that I actually etch my name into it, into the wet paint. I can come back and color that in later if I want it to stand out, but for now, it's done. So there you have it. Telstar, the do-over. The second version is much, much better than the first one was, I feel, and I'm very happy with it. So if you ever run into a situation where you need to start over, you go right ahead and do it. Give this one a try if you'd like. I think you'll have fun. Stay messy. Enjoy yourselves. We'll see you next time, guys. Bye-bye.